We have here with us Rear Admiral Hawco, who is also the keynote speaker of the C4ISR and Beyond 2016 event, Vanguard. Good afternoon, Admiral.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Well, we're very glad to have you here today. And very briefly, you were talking about earlier what the military's vision for C4ISR is. Could you give us the high points of that portion of your keynote?
So I guess what I would offer is recently signed by the Vice Chief of Defense Staff on the 2nd of March, the Canadian Armed Forces C4ISR Strategic Vision outlines the 17 strategic objectives we have, grouped really in kind of 5 strategic goals, but these 17 strategic objectives outline where the Canadian Armed Forces intends to go in terms of managing its command and control, its C2IS, its command control information systems, and its intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance networks, so that we are able to both prioritize and resource properly the evolution. And there are going to be attributes amongst those strategic objectives like converging our networks so that we have an open architecture or an architectural design that allows systems at the classified level to interoperate with each other, because we have many systems on the unclassified and classified side, and we need to ensure that they are seamlessly interoperable with each other and with our allies.
Yes, we have a lot of companies that operate in the defense industry who are listening right now, and they would like to find out how they should position their products and how they should design it. Sure. And you mentioned earlier some very important design elements that the military wants or needs in their C4ISR products.
Well, when we consider operational excellence and the ability to have militaries operate in some pretty complex terrain, whether that's domestically in the north, which is of course of vital interest to Canada, or whether that's in extremely complicated terrains that may in some cases not even have information technology infrastructure, such as in remote parts of Africa or in areas where a catastrophic earthquake has just occurred, just to name a few. So in these environments, we need to have the ability for mission assurance, which means that the information that is needing to be moved from that locale where those Canadian Armed Forces personnel are operating, either to others in theater, to remote bases that are supporting them, or back to Canada, that has the ability and the confidence that the information can move in a way that is secure and confident. So what that means in more practical terms from a mission assurance point of view is that we would want to design systems and the architectural backbone over which they're going to communicate those applications such that they can operate with allies, either in an ad hoc coalition environment or with our close allies such as NATO and even closer partners, for example, within the Five Eyes environment. And that these applications, and whether it's intelligence-based or surveillance and reconnaissance information or command and control applications, we're able to move the information and access réseau databases and the like, so that we can process that, exploit it, and disseminate it to partners, particularly when you're in the middle of time-sensitive tactical operations.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned also earlier about the adaptability of the product itself or the equipment itself, wherein it could be in a different form in training, but there would be some changes for it in its operational form.
Well, the pace of technology is such that we need to design equipment with technology refresh in mind. And equally, if you're looking to have mission assurance and resilience to interference by adversaries, you can operate equipment that has training modes, that has normal operating modes, and that has advanced operating modes. Those advanced operating modes may reduce some of the functionality while preserving the ability to continue high-end operational tasks in that software, but at the same time increases its resilience to impact. So an example of that would be, and I think I use the example of software-defined radios, where you can have certain waveforms for that radio that are designed for training environments and have other waveforms that are designed for operating environments. And then similarly, you can make minor firmware changes to the radio when you enter an operating environment, such that it makes it a more resilient radio against supply chain manipulation by adversaries.
Where does the supply chain insurance play into these requirements?
Well, certainly we will see in sensitive systems the importance of supply chain integrity increasingly be highlighted. Now, the question could be, if you're designing a complex system of systems, whether it's a ship or an aircraft or a vehicle, not every element of that ship, aircraft, or vehicle has sensitive technology or has technology that might be susceptible to supply chain concerns. I think it's important in the design from a requirements point of view and from a technology and industry point of view that care is taken to identify what are those sensitive systems and to be able to provide assurance that those systems are going to have the type of resilience that is going to be required by the military going forward. And that could be as simple as identifying specific requirements for the supply chain, which type of companies, the use of what type of components, the
potential injected flaws.
Potential injected flaws, all those things you would need to safeguard against. We would want to provide clear indications of our expectations from a Government of Canada point of view, and understanding that these type of security measures cause risk and cost. We have to make sure that there's an appropriate risk calculus and balance so that we have the appropriate emphasis on security, but not at the detriment to delivering an affordable capability for Canada.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Admiral. It was wonderful having you here.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.